Step into a medieval hall, a Viking shipyard, or an old timber-framed church, and you'll notice something remarkable. Much of the wood is still intact, despite centuries of exposure to rain, snow, frost, and soil moisture. Unlike most modern timber, which often rots within a few decades, even with chemical sealants, medieval wood endured. For the first minute, consider that these builders had no synthetic preservatives, no industrial coatings, and no pressure treatments, yet their timber survived for centuries. The secret wasn't hidden in exotic ingredients. It was in the way they selected, prepared, and designed their wood. Understanding this forgotten anti-rot weapon offers practical insights for anyone working with timber today. Medieval builders, really relied on wood that was naturally resistant to decay. Durable timber, well, it all begins with careful selection. Builders in those days favoured dense heartwood from oak, pine, larch and chestnut. Heartwood is, rich in tannins and resins. Those are natural compounds that repel moisture and inhibit fungi. Sapwood, which is high in sugars, was largely avoided because, honestly, it encourages rot. Vikings and medieval carpenters, even timed their harvests for winter or early spring, when sap levels were at their lowest. This, in turn, produced timber that was inherently less hospitable to decay. Modern builders, they can replicate this principle by choosing naturally durable, slow-grown species. Even small projects like fences, garden beds, or outdoor furniture benefit from timber that already has built-in decay resistance. Timing and species selection alone, quite remarkably, dramatically improve longevity. Selection was only the beginning. Medieval carpenters understood that the way timber interacted with water determined its lifespan. Beams and planks were often split along the grain rather than sawn, preserving fibres that naturally resist water absorption. Edges were beveled or rounded so water would shed rather than collect, and posts were often tapered at the top to prevent puddling. These subtle design choices ensured wood rarely stayed wet long enough to rot. Today, builders can use similar tactics. Chamfering edges, rounding post tops, and allowing rainwater to run off surfaces may seem minor, but honestly, these adjustments have a profound impact on durability, reducing the need for chemical sealants. Freshly cut wood is unstable, prone to warping, cracking, and, fungal attack. So, medieval builders would store timber in covered, ventilated areas for months or even years, allowing the moisture to escape evenly. Slow seasoning, it stabilized the wood's internal structure, making it much less vulnerable to rot and insect damage. Dry, stable wood is, quite simply, naturally more durable, and really it requires far less artificial intervention. For modern projects, allowing timber to air dry before installation is, a simple but effective step. Even outdoor furniture or garden structures benefit from using seasoned wood, extending their lifespan significantly. A less obvious but crucial method was light heat treatment. Timber was slowly exposed to embers or low fires, hardening the outer layers without burning the wood. Heat drives out moisture, breaks down sugars that fungi feed on, and creates a semi-carbonized layer that acts as a natural barrier against water and decay. These days, modern builders can actually replicate this process using low, controlled heat, like, say, a heat gun or even a fireproof chamber. The aim here is surface hardening without burning the wood, which in turn strengthens it and helps reduce moisture penetration. After heating, medieval carpenters would apply natural oils, resins, or fats while the timber was still warm. Pine tar, fish oil, or rendered animal fat would soak in deeply, creating a flexible water-repellent barrier. Pine tar seals and resists fungi fish oil, saturates fibres, and animal fats allow the wood to expand and contract without cracking. Together, these treatments protected timber far longer than surface coatings alone. Today, applying warmed natural oils or tar is a practical way to preserve outdoor wood without relying on chemicals. Posts, beams, garden structures and tools all benefit from this approach, which has been proven over centuries. Medieval anti-rot strategies were as much about design as preparation. Posts were often set on stones or gravel to avoid soil contact. Floors were raised for ventilation, and roof overhangs directed water away from walls. By combining intelligent design with prepared wood, builders minimized prolonged exposure to moisture, the main driver of rot. Modern builders can replicate these strategies easily, elevating posts, allowing airflow beneath structures, and incorporating extended roof lines dramatically reduces water exposure, even without chemical treatments. The survival of medieval timber proves the effectiveness of these methods. From Viking ships to stave churches and castle halls, surviving timber demonstrates that careful selection, shaping, seasoning, heat treatment, oil infusion and moisture-conscious design created wood that endured centuries. Modern chemical treatments often cannot match this combination of durability, sustainability and effectiveness. By applying these centuries-old methods, builders and homesteaders can produce timber that lasts far longer than typical modern constructions. If you enjoyed this deep dive into forgotten medieval engineering and want more practical lessons from history, subscribe to Relic Logic and share this video with fellow enthusiasts. The anti-rot techniques of the past aren't just curiosities. They're practical tools we can still use today to make wood last generations.